Oh, morning everybody. There we go. I'm apparently live now, sharing my screen. As I can see myself share my screen. I can't see myself. Facebook is a bit weird. I wish it would let you do an easy screen share and see my amazing face in the corner, but it doesn't do that. So there we go. Right, welcome to the live this morning. I'm going to have a go through today of a live build of a website that we've got to build within Joomla. Now, if anyone's followed me on social media, I've shared the homepage design for this that was created by Rebecca Watson. I'm going to tag, can I invite people from here straight through now? Apparently I can. Let's see if I can tag people. Rebecca Watson. I'm going to just see who replied to my post on Facebook and wanted me to tag them in it as well. Remco. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to tag them. Who else can I tag? If you're watching me from one of the groups I posted this in, say hello, drop me a positive comment. I don't know whether I can share this on... Why do I do a link on my... I've done Facebook Live so many times, but I've never actually shared my screen and done it with loads of people all the time. Copy link. There we go. I think it's that one. Anyway, shall I post that in the pages as well? I'll pop it on. So yeah, I've got a live build to do this morning, which is going to be an interesting challenge for me to do, of a brand new website built, designed by Rebecca Watson, who is a graphic designer, brand designer that I work with on quite a lot of projects now. And I'm going to pop that onto the screen here for you guys to see. So this is the design we're going to look at. I'm not going to promise I'll get to all of this one, and there's probably one or two little bits which I will have to come back to in a future week, which I'll happily do. If you've got any questions as we go through things, by all means let me know in the comments. I will move this off to my other screen now. I'm doing it again. I'm doing hand gestures, which nobody can see on a live video, which is pointless. I've already prepared the assets for the build. So I've got all the website imagery, which Rebecca sent through. Oh, I've got extra icon sizes in Windows 11. Look at that. So I've got all the assets done, the images, the logo, anything else they want to show on there. Some are SVG, some are PNG, all sorts of bits and bobs. I've already resized them, brought them down to sensible image sizes, that type of stuff. So what I've got is which is there. At the moment, it's got nothing there. It's literally an empty blank Joomla and Page Builder and Helix Ultimate 2 site. Close the cookies down for a minute. So literally, I've got a test site build for Joomla, which has got the small handful of extensions already in, all set up for me to use, so that if I've got a new site to create for a client, I can literally clone that site, use a backup software and create a secondary copy as a build, as a dev site for them, rather than have to reinstall Joomla every time and start all the extensions every time. I've created this standardized platform to work from, which really helps. So as you can see, absolutely empty and blank. I'm going to go to the admin setup now and get in there, and with fingers crossed it's not going to open up the password in the other window. If it does, well, I'll have to change it, won't I? Oh, it didn't. Good. So I've got my login set up. I can go on the back end. So I'm assuming some of you guys watching will be familiar with Joomla. If you're not, then this is I'm not here to show you how to use Joomla. I'm here to show you how I use the tools within to build the sites that I do. So in the back end, oh, there's some updates, sod's law due there as well. Right, okay. So first thing you always do is start with the colors and the logo and changing all those across to match the client one. So within Helix Ultimate, if I'm going a bit quick, you'll have to pause it and catch up, I'm afraid. I can go into the template options, and I can start to set things like the client logo. So in the basic section, I'm going to upload the client logo to this. Let's pick up kids imagery. Wow, that is big, medium-sized ones. I need bigger ones in this. I've got large. There we go. Pick up for kids, cream, secret of kids, logo cropped. Try that one. I think it's the cream one. No, is it the cream one? Yeah, I've got a few different variations of the logo on there. And I'm going to select that for every single logo option in there, for the retina, for the mobile, and put that in and select it. And I'm going to change the logo alt text to the name of the client in this one. I've also got the fav icon selected. I've already created that in here. So I'm going to select that in there, and it will be in, where is it? Have I got it? Maybe I haven't. I'll pick one for now, and I will pick the purple bird. There we go, put that in there. And at any point in time, as you can already see within Helix, it actually gives you a live preview of some of these things. So I've already changed the logo, and I'm going to save that one. Now the font is Montserrat. So I'm going to go down to typography, and all of the fonts throughout the site are the same one. So I can use the Google Fonts to set Montserrat for the body text. I always change it to Latin extension. Maybe I don't need to, but I always do. I'm going to change all of the heading fonts to also Montserrat as well. If I pronounce that wrong, I'm sure Rebecca will tell me, because she's into fonts more than I am. Montserrat, I always set these for them all. Montserrat again. Need to do that bit, and that bit, and that bit, and that bit. Where have I got to? Heading 4, heading 5. Most sites probably don't use every single heading, and as far as I'm aware, if you set the body font and turn all these headings off, it will actually pick up the body font for the headings. But I like sometimes to set the standard font size for these, because if you use an extension for shopping or anything else that might be involved, sometimes they set their own heading sizes, and it can look a bit weird or a bit big, and it doesn't always work. So I've set those now, and I'm going to save it. I'm now going to go into the presets. So this is where I can set up all the colors for the site as a core. Now I've got these all saved. I'm going to bring this in a little bit on there so you can see it. So I've basically been through, I've got a brand spec sheet from Rebecca, which has got all the color hex codes and the RGBAs in there as well. So I've got the custom style selected in Helix, and all the way through I can set these colors up from the ones I've got. So I've got the purple, which is the background color for the top bar. Hang on, do that again. And I want the text color, which I'm not likely to need, but I'm going to set that as white. The header background color, again, is also going to be purple from this one. Because the logo is an image, I don't need to worry about the logo text color, because it's not irrelevant at all. It's not relevant. The menu text color, now this one on there is, I've got a few options on this one. So I've got all colors in here, and I need to check back in whether these are hover and selected or whether these are just different colors for different things. So by default, I'm actually going to set the default text color as the cream, which is the about me and the contact one. And I'm going to set the hover color, as in the color it goes when your mouse goes over the top, as the pink. I can set hover text color as pink. And I'm going to set the active text color as the yellow on there. And I'm going to, for the sake of it, for where I am, I'm going to save that. I'm also going to set the drop down background color. Well, I'm going to leave that as, I'm going to set that as purple actually. I don't think we've got any drop downs for the menu on this one, but I'm going to set it to match the main header. Again, the drop down text color I'm going to match with the main menu. and the drop down hover. Again, I'm going to match with the main menu there, and the drop down active, again the yellow, I'm going to match it in there, and for the sake of peace of mind for me, I'm going to save it at that point. I've now got the body, so this is the main page text. Now, and what has Rebecca set that as on there? So she's used the purple as the core body font colour, so I'm going to pick the same one. The background colour is, as you can see on there, the white. The link colour, we haven't really got one picked on there, but I'm going to go for something obvious, and I'm going to use pink as the link colour. But as you can see in there, I can actually come back quite easily and change that one. What did I use on the hover? Pink and active. Body link hover. I'm going to pick yellow as the link hover on the body font. So any links in the page text, that's what sets these up basically. Now you won't see any of these yet because there's nothing on the page to see, but I'm basically setting things up as I need for the next step. So the footer in this one is actually the pink. So I'm going to use the pink here, and I'm going to set that as the background colour. The text colour, again, I'm going to set as the cream. And the link colour, I'm also going to leave as cream, rather than have that as a separate one in there. But I'm going to make the hover colour, again, the yellow. Although in this build, as it stands, there's nothing in the footer. This pink bar at the bottom is the footer. This section here in the default template layout is the bottom 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. And the colours and stuff for that will be defined in the modules that I create to put into that space. So that's all done. And at the moment in time, all I want to do in the layout in the menu, is it? Bigger menu. No, it's not. Layout, presets. Where does this go now? They've changed a lot of this. I just need to remember where I've got to. Where does that go? Basic. Header. There we go. So at the moment I've got it on classic. I actually want the top bar showing for this one. And although it's got stuff in there at the moment I don't need. If we look at the page design on Rebecca's design, I have got the Find Me on Facebook, which sits above the menu, which will basically be into this top bar section at the top. And I'm going to take out from here the social icons and the contact info, because I don't want them showing in those positions. And just to be sure, I've set the top bar. Yeah, top bar is from the design the same purple as that one. So at the moment you'll see that it hasn't actually refreshed on the settings there. And if I go back to the actual front page of things there, now it has applied those settings. So I've got the pink footer with the bits and bobs in it I've already placed in. I'm actually going to take out the copyright information. And I'm going to take out the other one's a module anyway, so that's fine. Save. So now that bit's gone at the bottom. It'll just be a pink bar. And if I get rid of the module that I've used at the moment for the privacy and cookies policy, although I might leave that in, will it fit? I'll put that in underneath this one, I think, and leave it out. So I've now got the core stuff done. I'm going to change the logo size a little bit. I actually want the logo to be a lot bigger than it is on there. So in here for the desktop version, the logo at the moment is only 70. I'm going to jump that up to 100 and just see how that looks. I'm going to have to tweak a little bit of this in CSS to just get it where I want it to be. You can see that getting a bit bigger now as I go through it. I'm also going to go to the mobile and set 60, and the header is 80 for that as well, so that's fine. So again, what you'll see on the front end, the logo's there, and if I bring it into to mobile size, you'll see it pops out into the size of that one. I'm going to increase the mobile logo a little bit. I want it a bit bigger than that on mobile. I'm going to put that up to 80. Just for the sake of, I'm going to do Control Refresh there. And again, the logo is now bigger on mobile than it was before. I've still got the same menu on the side, which actually now nicely on the Helix Ultimate picks the colours up from the main menu. In Helix 1, it didn't do that. Helix Ultimate 1, you had to set those colours separately. So in terms of the template settings now, that's me done. I'm going to save it again to be sure and then close that down. So I've now got the absolute basic core in of what I want to do with the site. So if we go back to the design, I've got the purple at the top and everything else is set ready to be used. I'm just going to move these out of the way so they're not in the way of things. So the next bit for me, I'm going to start at the header. Actually, tell a lie, I'm not. I'm going to start to create the pages as well. So I now, once I've done the color scheme, I'll go through and create the blank page builder pages for these ones we've got here. So I've got About Me, Services, Costs, and Contact. So in Page Builder, I've got Home, Privacy, I've got a test one which I use for playing with. So I need to create a page now, just a blank one, and an empty one called About Me. And I'm going to add a blank row for the sake of it. And I'm going to do Save and New. Create another one called Services. Save and New. Another one called Costs. I've already got a contact page, so I'm just going to do Save and Close. So now I've got those blank empty pages to create the menu in. So within, have I got any comments on that? Oh, Rebecca says I pronounced Montserrat correctly. Thank you very much. I've only got one viewer. I'm slightly disappointed everybody said they're going to come watch this and now they've all gone. So let's see if they're going to watch it on a replay. So I've now got the menu structure to play with, and Joomla's menu setup I find about as straightforward as you're going to get. So I'm just going to check. I don't think we've got breadcrumbs on the design for this. I'm going to open the contact page up, design. So yeah, the contact page on this one, we've got no breadcrumbs created. It's just the header section. So I'm going to basically do new, and I'm going to do this as the About Me. So I can create About Me. I'm going to use the menu item type, set it to Page Builder, Page, and then I can select the page as About Me. And if you want to, you can set the page display, the browser page title, which is this bit up here. I can set the metadata. So I might want to put about the kids in there. We haven't got this set yet. We haven't got it decided on, but it's there to put in. This is the page description, the meta description. The page title I'm leaving off. This will be the Helix page title if you're using breadcrumbs and stuff, but we're not doing that. And I'm going to save that. And it will actually initially put it doesn't matter because privacy policy one's hidden. It'll put it last, but I'm going to put it where the home is and save it again. And now on the build, voila, there's the About page. And if I click on About Me, they hover pink and the active is yellow as we set up. So again, I'm going to basically do the same thing for services. I'm going to delete the alias because I'm going to do save as copy rather than set this whole thing up again. I'm going to choose a services page. Again, copy all the details through. Metadata. I'm going to I'm going to correct my poor spelling. That was right. Language. There. That's what I get for typing too fast. And this is 2 words, which Rebecca will probably tell me if I get wrong. And this time I'm going to do save as copy. Now this sets it to unpublished, but I can literally do published, save it again. And again, I've now got home About Me services. Has she done it? Lowercase. Now, I'll go back and correct that. I've got some CSS set to defaultly put these as uppercase because I quite like that. But for this one, they need to be lower. I've got one more to do. Have I got costs? So again, costs. What did I do then? Nothing. I'm going to change that to costs, delete the alias, select the costs page. Again, page display, change that to costs. I'm going to just put that in there for now and set that, and again save as copy, published. Last one is contact us. Again, select the page. I haven't got it, have I? Bugger, I didn't do one. I thought we had one. I thought we would have a contact page set up, but I haven't. I'm going to leave it there for now, change it, and I'm going to call it how to get in touch with Speak Up for Kids. Page title, page display, save as copy, published, save and close. So now I've got, on the home page, I've got my menu items in, and as I mentioned, if I click on About Me, it changes the page title for each one to match the page I'm on, and I set the metadata. What I'm going to do quickly in Page Builder is do a contact page. Oh, come on, I keep clicking the tab button. Contact us, add new row there, save and close. And for the sake of completion in my own head, I'm going to use the main menu, and I'm going to correct the contact us page to actually go to the contact us page, so that when I edit that page, it's correct. Right, okay. So hopefully you can still see that all right. Nobody's moaned. So in the Helix settings, I've actually got some custom CSS put in to, by default, load the menu items as uppercase, but in this instance, we don't need it. So I'm actually able to take out all of the custom CSS that I've added, and you should see that that now jumps down to lowercase text, which is exactly matching the design from Becca, which is there. Bit. So we've got all that in there now. So the next bit for me is going to be looking at this header. So we've got the birds and the font and stuff in the middle. So I'm going to just shift that out the way again so I can keep going. So in Page Builder, I'm going to open up the home page to edit and have a quick swig of my coffee while I'm doing that one. Hopefully those who struggle with ASMR can't hear me drinking my coffee. I've got loads of blank rows set up in this one just to space things out. So I'm going to edit the top row, and in the row options I'm going to pick from my little, I've got a text file to my right with all the colour hex codes in, and I'm going to set the colour, the background colour of this one to the purple. And if I save that one, you'll now see, voila, that top section is now purple. And as I add to the height of this, you'll see how it all builds through to be what it is. So the first thing we've got within this top row is the header text. I'm going to do that as 2 items of header as an add-on in Builder. Go away. Windows 10's got some strange little behaviors I haven't got used to yet. Get bigger. There we go. So I'm going to put a heading in here, and I've actually got all this copy typed out for my ease of use. So I've got helping your child communicate, and I'm going to do this as a heading. And there we go, helping child communicate. And I'm going to set that as a H1. And in the style, I might have to tweak this, but we'll see. I'm going to set that as white, and it's by default, it's already in the center. So I'm going to tick that and save and see what it does. Now I've got some add-ons within Helix that give me some extra add-ons, and they have a habit of overriding some of the colors. So I'm going to go into custom code, and I'm going to set the color as the cream from my other text file. In there, and I'm also going to change the size of that font a little bit to, no, maybe, yeah, a bit bigger. I'm going to make it a touch bigger. So we can override the standard font size setting. I'm going to try 36, and I'm also going to raise the font weight a little bit to medium and see what that does. So save that, save again, reload the home page, and now that's the white. If Rebecca, if you want that I'm going to try bold for the second one. I'm going to duplicate that heading and edit it. So all the settings now are already in. I don't have to change any of that custom CSS again in that style to do it. So I want with confidence as the heading in there, but all I'm going to change now is this medium. I'm going to try, I'll try semi-bold. Sometimes they don't always have a variation for each bold level. Yeah, but as you can see from the design from Rebecca, actually, the with confidence is heavy. I actually think I need to drop those down one. See what Rebecca thinks. I'm going to change the H1 to actually just normal, although it already would be. And I'm going to change the with confidence text to be medium. And see what it does. Yeah, I think that's a better match for what Rebecca's got in her build there. So I'm basically building up this layout. Now you can see there's a lot more gap in terms of the tops and bottoms of these things than she's got. So every add-on by default puts a 30 pixel margin beneath it, so that if you drop things beneath each other in the build, it doesn't just cramp them up together. And also any of the headings have also got an extra setting in the main layout page to be 30 pixels margin beneath the text, as well as that one. So if I take both of those out, it will actually drop those closer together now to match what Rebecca's got in terms of that layout. There's a slight difference in width here, so that my monitor is really wide in comparison to the build of this site on the design. So we'll see how that pans out as we go through. So now I'm going to put the little birdies in. If I can just move this out of the way. So now what you'll see on the row option, actually no, what I'll do first, I'm going to put the add-on image in. So I'm going to add the image and it will be the birds from there. Now it will be 2 birds, is it? This one? Yeah, that's the ones I wanted. And I'm going to just, for the admin label, this isn't shown to the visitors of the site. It's literally for you as an admin to manage the back end of the site, to know which heading, which bits are which. And I'm going to just change the alt tag to speak up for kids in there. Now again, if you look at the page design for this one, those birds sit right at the bottom of the purple header section. So I'm going to take the margin out and set that as 0 again from 30. And let's see what happens. I'll put that in. Now this is going to be huge. It's going to fill up the whole page. No, it's not, because it's an SVG file. I'm going to not do it that way around. There's an SVG add-on under there, which I need to use. So for those of you that use Page Builder, there's a website out there called warptheme.com. And warptheme.com have got some add-ons for Page Builder that are not there within the default build. Now maybe Page Builder 4 will allow for SVG. But by default, Page Builder doesn't allow you to put an SVG image in. Now this one, as you'll see, is going to be tiddly small. It's got width and height set 40-40. But let's see what happens. Yeah, tiddly. So hopefully, can I align that center? The benefit of an SVG, yep, so there we are centered, is that it actually scales to any screen res without pixelating. So if you have a JPEG or a PNG and you go too big to zoom in, it won't look very sharp. Whereas if you use an SVG, it will be an awful lot better. So I'm now going to take off, sorry, the margin. So at the moment, you see one, it's too small. So I can go into that SVG add-on and I can actually change the width and the height. Now, unfortunately, I'm not sure whether I want to do it this way around. I'm going to just see if it'll do it as a square. Let's see what it does. I don't really want to set the width and height. I just want to set the... Oh, there we go. Is that about right? Pretty much compared to the build layout there. Roughly, it's narrower than that tail hits the N. Tail hits the U. So there's a little bit of a space difference. If I wanted, I could bring that in. Rebecca can decide if she wants me to in a way. I will do for the sake of it. I'll tiny bring that into maybe 350 and then 350. Do it, save, and voila. make it a bit smaller. It's a little bit closer now to where the layout was. There's also not as much of a gap beneath the words to that bird picture on the build. That gap's a bit bigger, so what I'm going to do is just reduce the 30 pixel margin on here. I think I can get rid of it actually, and get rid of it on there. Doesn't like that because I've got the height set. I'll have a play with that, see what happens. But what you'll see is that that's actually aligned in the middle of this section. I've got a big gap at the bottom. So on the row options, I can do, is it in here? Vertical align, and I can say bottom. And I'm hoping, if this doesn't work, I'm going to go and use a PNG file. Pain in the butt. Yeah. Margin none. Is that one? It's not doing that one. It's centered this on the height of the thing, and I don't want it to do it that way around. This is one thing with some of the settings you've got to get right. So I have actually done that as also as a PNG. So I'm actually going to trash that one. And I am, for this instance, going to use the PNG file. And I'm going to use that one. It's exactly the same. It's actually relatively big enough that it won't pixelate the way that I hope it won't do. And I guess this is an example of being able to play around and see what actually works. Take the margin out of that one there. Now this will be too wide. I suspect this will probably fill up the width of the page. There we go. How do you like your big birds? I'm going to now use a little extra feature. So in the style, in the advanced tab of the images, I can do custom add-on width. And this is a screen width percentage. So I'm going to try initially, I reckon on a browser there, 50%. Tablet, probably the same. And I suspect I'm going to try 60 on a mobile. I can change each one individually on there. But to make this work, I've actually got to set the right and the left margin as auto, but leave the top and the bottom as 0. Because that way round, when I've got the alignment set as center, it won't offset it to the side. So I'm going to try and reload that page now. And we're a bit further in. Obviously, I've gathered that a bit too small, a bit too big. So I'm going to try that again. I'm going to try 30 actually now. And I'm going to try 35. And I'm going to leave that at 40. Save it. Bring it in a little bit. There we go. That's a bit closer to it. And you can see actually now it's brought the margin beneath the text in pretty much to what Rebecca's got on her layout there, as close as you're going to get. Tails under the eye and the N, tails under the, maybe touch that. If I was fussed to be OCD, I'm going to change that to 35, 40, and then 45. This is the level of precision. If you're that keen on doing it, you can bring that in, and that's now under the eye and the N, and the rest of it there, which is a bit neater. But what you'll see is at the bottom of that bird still, there's a big purple bar. And that's because by default, these rows have all got a margin set, padding set of 50px at the top and 50 at the bottom. I'm going to take that out at the bottom, save. And there we go, the bird's at the bottom of the page. But we've still got this really narrow gap at the top there versus the slightly bigger gap. I'm going to space that out a touch there. So what I'm going to do is increase the row margin at the top to be 100. Now if I found on mobile that was too big, I can drop in and set the mobile ones separately, but I suspect that's going to be within reason about right. So that's a bit more like it. If I actually bring that in, you can see how my widescreen has actually extended that past the design, and as I shrink it in, it gets closer to match it, but it's full width. So that's the top bit done. So there we go. Top header now is matching what Rebecca's created in her design there. So the next bit I've got is the text below, which is literally, this is going to be relatively straightforward there. Who's ringing me up? Somebody on the phone. So back to Page Builder. I've got my empty row there already. and I'm just going to add a text add-on. Text block, as I say, I've got the text already typed out to save me having to type it all out now. See, and I can go in there. My spell checker likes to correct all my spelling. Paste it in. Now you'll notice on the design that there's a little bit of bold text in there, and that is as simple as me selecting it and going bold. So accessible and affordable service. Accessible and affordable service is bold, and again that is also on quality speech and language support. Quality speech and language support is in bold. But this is, the text size is a lot bigger than standard on there. I'm going to up that a bit, I think. I'm going to try initially, do it as center, and I'm also going to take the margin out the bottom of that one and just see how that looks as normal body font. So as you can see, I suspect, maybe does it need to be bigger? We'll see. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the same as I did for the image and change the left and right margins on there to auto. On the left and right, auto. And then in advanced, I'm going to use the custom add-on width, and I'm going to bring that down initially to try 70. I'm always going to want the mobile to be 100 for these, because I think if you go narrower for text, you don't need to. And I'm going to try 80 for tablet, just to see how that fits in. So how we got it on the design, it breaks down a little bit more than that. Accessible, and I'm going to try a little bit lower. So advanced, I'm going to try 60 for the sake of that one, 70. I'm going to leave mobile always at 100%. That's a bit more like it. Actually, I think that font size isn't so bad, actually. Yeah. This shows a little bit where there's always going to be some slight difference for build versus design, because the font and the width of that and the size of that on a build is not always going to guarantee you're going to get, like, that and is on the second line at the end of there. I suspect if I up the font size a little bit, Rebecca can argue or discuss with me whether she wants the font size bigger than it is. Have I got anybody watching me? I've got 3 viewers. Say hello. Oh, I always use custom CSS. Yeah, you can do that, but I find it easier, certainly at build, to use the CSS inside of page build of Helix. You can, if you want, put it into custom CSS as the file. Although if you turn production mode on in Helix and Page Builder, it does all that by default, so you don't need to necessarily worry about it. Hello, Diane. Good to see you. I just do use it out of simplicity. I think the problem with putting it in the custom CSS file is potentially in terms of the user that might be doing this themselves and supporting their own site, it's a little bit more hidden for them to go and change. But you can. I don't use the custom CSS, but you can do. At the moment, I haven't got any custom CSS in there. I could do that for the heading colors, but the warp theme overrides the heading colors, which is a little bit of a pain, but it does it anyway. So anyway, the top and bottom gap for that one there is actually, I think, a little bit narrower than the 50. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the background color of the row beneath to that pink, just to see how that looks in terms of the margin on there. Sorry, I can't see the comments when this is on, so I'm going to have to, if I pull that across to there, will that still work? Oh, there we go. Yeah, so I put that second pink row in now as a background color. I'm going to knock that down. I think I'm going to change that margin on that row there to be, I'm just going to knock it down by 10 to 40. And then the same for the pink one. Row options, I'm just going to call that pink for the sake of knowing what it is. And again, 40, 40, just to bring them in a touch closer to. I hope you can still see that. If you can't see it because I've moved my Facebook to move the screen, that's just narrowed that down a touch in terms of what Rebecca had for her design. I'm going to close that one down, it's easier to click it. blah, 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 speak up for kids. And we've now got this quote. Now, this is a little bit more fiddly, actually, to get the image on the right-hand side of this one. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm actually going to create that as a different row breakup and see how it goes. So I'm going to add manage columns, and I'm actually going to do 2 plus 8 plus 2. That's my 12. You can do a custom row. It's always got to add up to 12, otherwise it looks a bit weird sometimes. So I'm going to do 2, and I'm going to copy that text block, put it down here, and I'm going to set the color to white. And again, I've got my text copied out, and I'm going to put that in here, paste it in, and fingers crossed, that should be in the pink. Although it's brought it in a touch more than I wanted to do. So I'm going to just change the row settings on there now, and I'm going to do 1 plus 10 plus 1. You'll see why in a second. There we go, a bit more like it. Now on the page design, Rebecca's got all of that in bold. So I'm literally just going to go in there and I'm going to just change all that to bold. Simple as that. There we go. And if anybody wants to see it, there's the page design again with the text in. Now, little birdie on the right hand side, how we're going to do that. So this is a little bit of tweaking magic. I'm going to do an image add-on, as we did before. And I'm going to choose one of the files I've already got done, which is the purple bird. And I'm going to call it that so I know what it is, purple bird. And I'm going to set the image position to be the left, and I don't want any margin on the bottom. So a little bit in the way there. There's my pink bird. Now at the moment, he's all the way over there. Don't want him all the way over there. Image position. And can I change the column? Can't. So I'm going to have to fiddle this one, because these are always a curious little bit of how you actually achieve these and these ones there. So I've got a couple of ways of doing this, and I can't decide ever which is the right way. But we'll go, because as I shrink this in, that's actually going to get close to... I love these little challenges. They're always interesting to do it. So I'm going to set these margins for mobile to be 2. Column options 8, 2. Now what this will force is keeping that bird on the right. See how, did anybody see how it dropped underneath on mobile? Yeah, whereas now it'll actually keep it on the right hand side. I need to do the tablet the same way. So I want the column vertical line to be bottom, but I actually want this column option to be vertical line center. There we go. Why is that not aligned, that bottom? Pin the bum. Ah, because it's on the margin layer, isn't it? The 40 pixel margin. So ironically, on those ones it looks alright, but on there we don't. I'm going to do this, and I might end up coming back to this one and changing it and seeing how it goes. So what I'm going to do is, in the style, I'm going to set the left margin as a minus figure and see what happens with it. And this will pull it across to the left. And it goes huge. Don't want it that huge. So I'm going to have to set the style of this to be fixed. And I'm going to see how it goes, what size I actually want bird to stay. So there we go. So it's getting there. I'll pull them across now, and I'm going to set a negative margin on the bottom. 15, just see what it does. It's going to be a balance, this one. I don't want to get it to drop underneath the height of that row. Bit much. Maybe it doesn't need to be as much as 50. I'm going to try 20. Closer. No, I'm going to drop it a touch more, and I'm going to make it. So this is how we can basically come back and also basically iterate to find the right position for what you want to do to get it where you want to be. Bit more. I'm going to knock that up another 5. And I'm actually, while I'm in there, I'm going to change that one to be a bit more. I'm going to try 220 in there and save it. Yeah, that's not bad. If I look at the actual design of the page, bring it back over for you. I've got the bird to the right, little beaks just kind of to the right of the E. Excuse me, on there. So that's actually at the moment, and Rebecca can have a chat and see if she wants. It's left that quotation on 2 lines rather than 3. I could shrink that in and play a bit more if she wants me to, or leave it as it is. We'll see how it goes. So I'm not going to worry about the mobile layout on this for now, because I think if I do that, I'll be here all day. I've already done 50 minutes of this, which was a bit longer than planned. But I'm going to keep going. So the next bit we've got is this image on the left and the text on the right hand side. This is a few little bits to pull together for this one. So I'm going to split that row. I reckon it's not 50-50. That I think that's maybe 40-60. So I'm going to split that row beneath the pink, and I'm going to try 5 plus 7, which again is the 12. And on the left, I've got the picture, which I've already done. As I say, that's already added to my pre-created files. So I'm going to upload the child with the letters. And I'm going to put mine in there, child with letters, so I don't know what it is. Speak Up for Kids Centre, and I'm also going to take out the margin on that one of 30. Now, actually what I need to do first, and I'll show you why I'm going to do it. So that add-on on the design has got a purple border on it. Pretty straightforward. Again, I'm going to get the purple hex code. I'm going to go down and on the style tab, use border width. I'm going to do 5. Border color is the purple. Border style solid, and I want the radius of the border left as 0. There's no drop shadow on it that I can see. So save. And there is my little image with the purple border on it. Now, these are stock images at the moment. We haven't actually finalized them with the client, which is why they're overlaid with all the bits and bobs. Again, I'm going to just change the row margin on this one to 40-40. Sorry, the padding, not the margin. Padding top and bottom to 40. Yeah, so that'll be all matched down the page. And now I'm going to add a text add-on to text block, and again I've got this in my text copy. In there, and again we've got we got any bold? Don't panic, in bold in there. Bold. Content alignment by default is left, so I'm not going to change it at the moment. I'm going to take out the margin again and save, and that's brought in that bit in there. Now some of the widths of these are interesting, because this is where we look at the layout and stuff and decide whether or not we want to split that 60-50 on the width. If you look at the page design, the way the text is in, it's not as wide as my browser screen. But if I bring that in, so I wonder if that might be better off as a 60-60 one, to keep a little bit closer to the layout in terms of how it is. Yeah, we'll see. I'll maybe change the line spacing in that and see how it goes. But we'll keep going for now, and I'll see. I think what I probably would do was in the row options align this center, but we'll see what happens. I'm actually, while I'm there, I'm going to put that 30 back in, because there's a reason for it. So that by default is what I've got for that row section that Rebecca's done on there. However, we've also got text. I'm going to keep going. Right. So this is completely off the hoof, by the way. I've not planned the build of this. I've got the images ready and I've come to this now in terms of what I've got. So I've got the header now. And I'm going to copy that in. And I'm going to add again that as heading. And I'm going to, just for the sake of normal, heading 2. That should be difficulty. If I typed that wrong, I have difficulty. Style, and again it doesn't pick up the colour. I'm going to have to play with this one. No, H2. One, and I want the purple. Save. And it's left aligned it, as I centered it, and I want it left aligned, content alignment left, and I'm also going to change the weight to be medium, and I'm going to drop the font size down a little bit. I think it's a bit big for me there. I'm going to bring that down to 18. That's better. Okay, what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to, in the row options, I'm going to do vertical align center, which I tend to prefer, and this will actually spread as I put the rest of these things together. So what you'll see now is we've got these little bullet points with a pink bird in. Now I'm going to do those as feature boxes, as an add-on. So if I go in here now, I've got my heading, and I'm going to add-on, and I've got feature box. And the title is actually going to be the words from the bullet points on there. So title, saying words clearly. They are, I'm leaving with 16, 22. They're not bold, they're normal. The title color again is the purple. And they are, the layout type I'm going to choose is image. I'm going to upload that image, which is the pink bird, which I've already got. There we go. Blah, 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 blah. Don't want any content. I'm going to delete all the content out of there. Don't want it. Content alignment left. No button. And what we can do at the top of here is icon. I'm going to put the image on the left. Icon image position. I'm going to save that just to show you what happens. Where's it gone? Is this going to prove me wrong? Where's the title? Stupid me, set it in the wrong place, set it there. Yeah, so as you can see, that bird is couch at the moment, far too big. So again, left, it's taken that out when I've changed it, that's why. On the left. So what I'm going to do now is, apart from come back and resize the actual pink bird image, I don't need it that big. Image width, I'm going to bring that down to 5, I think. This percentage, save. That's more like it. If we look back at the design, no, stop going full size. There we go. Little pink bird saying words clearly, which is blue. I will change that. I think it's because the text color needs to be purple too, maybe. It's not a link, is it? I think it's because it's classed that text as a link, it's made it blue. Da-da-da. There we go. And I'm going to notch that bird size down 1 more percentage to be 4%. I reckon that is going to be, that's better. Let's have a look at the page design now. There we go. I'm happy with that one. And I'm going to basically now duplicate that twice, and I've now got my 3 bullet points in there. And you can see it's beginning to spread these across the gap of the height of the image. Now I'm going to bring the margin down on each of those top 2. So the margin I'm going to make is 10. And that one again 10. Just to bring them a little bit more in line with that layout of what she's got. Could argue they need to be bigger than that actually. Maybe I'll go 20. And this is the joys of it. Now the idea, if you're going to do a lot of these, you get 2 right and then you duplicate those 2 that you've already got right. Otherwise you end up significantly repeating yourself on that. I'm going to take it off the bottom one. I don't want any margin on the bottom one, so it centers correctly. There we go. How does that sit? I think that's pretty good compared to that layout there. I'm going to just change the text in each of these to match. Now, I think I'm showing you an awful lot here in terms of how I work, and I think it'd be easy to think this is easy and wow, he charges money for doing this. I know these tools inside out and I've used them for years, and I can do this in what I've got an hour in, and I've basically got half the homepage built. And subsequent pages are easier because I've already got some of the layout and design I can follow through. You know, I can do this quite quickly, but I'm pretty good at knowing what I can do to get what done the way I want it. So the next row is the answer to this is yes to any of these, help us at hand. So this is literally going to be a blank row. I'm going to bring that text block down. Don't want a text block. I want a heading. I'm going to use that one. Put it in here. And this should already be set to purple. And then want content alignment center for this one. Does it need to be bigger? Is it the same size? No, we'll see how it looks. And it's going to be a big gap initially, watch. So it's at the bottom. I like the design where there's less of a gap between those 2 sections. So straight away, what I'm going to do is drop the margin of that row there back down to 0 at the bottom. Save it, and that will bring it up a bit. And I'm also going to change the margin of this row a little bit at the top to 30 and then 40 to match the rest of them. I'm going to keep going with this one because I'm not far off the home page. So now we've got that roughly to where that is on that one there. So the only thing I might do is look at whether this needs to be a 60-60, 50-50 split. It's up to Rebecca really whether she thinks that's working or not. I'd be inclined, possibly if this was me, I think what I would probably do was reduce the height of that image a little bit. So rather than square, but I think that looks close enough. If Rebecca wants to have a chat with me, we'll see if she wants me to change that around a little bit. I could maybe increase the margin, the line spacing a touch to bring it in as well. Or I could actually bring it in to the left and right a bit more. Although I'm not sure I would personally choose that one. Anyway, I've got 2 more rows left to do, so I'm going to keep going. Even though I've done an hour, maybe 10 minutes left. If you're still watching, please let me know. I don't use the front end editor either. Do you mean that for the bird, Sassy? Maybe you do. I don't like the front editor. I've never taken to it, although there's one or two elements you have to use to do that one. So next row I've got here is got an image behind it with a coloured overlay. So I'm going to go back to this bottom row. I'm going to add one more row in as a blank. So this row here, the next blank one down, I'm going to set the padding to be 40/40 again. And I'm also going to set now the background options as an image. And I've got the image ready, which is this one, child on the floor with the letters coming in it. Now I'm going to leave this at the moment as no repeat, cover. I'm actually going to leave the background as scroll. Safari as a browser struggles with parallax sometimes, which is a pain because it's quite a nice one. So that's the background image set. So I'm going to just save that now and show you what that does. So now the next row down has got that image set as a background. I need to bring that margin down, don't I? Has that heading got a 30 pixel? Yeah, take it out. There we go. So that next row down now has got, oh, come on, you're a heading pain in the butt. Take it out there as well. There we go. That's better. Right, okay. So that's the background set, but I'm going to add the overlay to this now. So in the background options, again, I've got the image set. Go a bit further down, I can do an overlay type of colour. And I'm going to pick again the purple. And I'm going to use, if I click on that now, I can use a transparency slider to bring that down and change it automatically to RGBA. Now I reckon that's about 7.5 as a 0 point, as a percentage of the overlay colour. To keep it transparent, but be dark enough to see the text above it. No, I don't like the front end editor. I know some people do it. I can't take to it. So now we've got the overlay set. I won't have a choice of page builder 4 because I think you're going entirely front end. So let's see what happens on there. So now I've put the overlay to that image and it's there ready done. So if we look back at the design again, I've now got some text and a button. So I'm going to go back to my text that I've already got typed out and just copy that through. I'm going to add text block and put that in. And as far as I'm aware, it's bold again. Not click here is bold because it's a link. Bold, and then I've got bold on Y-tiered. Now actually, so this link here, I'm literally gonna, oh look at that. Is that me typing that out wrong? Click here is a link to, I'm going to assume, the services page, I think. Yeah, services. I'm going to literally, I know that the link to that page is just services. So I'm going to put that in there. Is that one? And go back and make that bold again. Now I'm going to set the link colors on here to be purple. And I want the link hover, oh no I don't, it's going to be white, isn't it? White, text colors white. The link hover maybe will be, I think, on the purple. Probably the yellow. Let's see how that works. I'm going to make that centered. And that will now be overlaid over there. Now I want the design that is a little bit narrower. So I'm going to bring that in again, a bit like we did before. I'm going to set the margins on that one. Already has auto, advanced. Hang on, get the right one. That one, style, auto, not PX, oh no, 30px. I want that left in because there's a button going underneath. And I'm going to set the advanced to 60, 70, and then again 100 on there. maybe a touch more. I do wonder if I need the body font a little bit bigger on this build actually. I leave those as they are. Oops. Yeah, you all like the front end editor. I don't like the front editor. I can't take to it. I only use it for interactions. Everything else I don't bother with. I'm actually going to change the. Yeah, that's the discussion we've had on the forums, isn't it? I'm going to change the overlay on that background a 1 up. I think it's a little bit light to see the font and the text clearly. That's a bit better. I maybe need to crop that image a little bit to get the bricks in. I think it's because I've got a wide screen, it's taken a lot of it out. Excuse me while I get a drink there. Right, so that's that bit in. I'm now going to add in, and that one there is the right click here, which takes you to the services page. I never put the URL in there, just the subpath, because then if we ever change domains to the live build, which we will, I don't have to go and change my links. They will always link to the correct page of the site. So I'm now going to put the button in, which is as easy as literally doing an add-on button. Again, I'm going to take the margin out of that for the bottom, and the button needs to say get in touch. So believe it or not, the link to this will be, well, I can't type, get in touch, contact us with a hyphen. And I'm going to contact the content align center, contact us. Button style I'm going to do as custom. I want it flat. How big's the font? I'm going to knock the font size up to 18. Background color is pink. I'm going to go back to my colors that I've got. Set the pink on the hover. I'm going to again go for the yellow. Button size standard. Button shape square. Full width button no. Apply. There we go. There's my button now. Rebecca's is a bit narrower than that one. So if I really want to bring that in, I can go to the padding. And I'm going to make that 5px at the top, 15px left and right, 5px, 15px that way around, and just see how that looks. There we go, getting there. You want to bring that down a bit more, do you think? Yeah, I'm going to add a little bit more padding to the left and right of that for the sake of it. I'm going to go 20, and I'm going to just nudge that down a touch to 4. There we go, a bit closer to what she's got in that design there. I think she's got this character spacing bigger than me actually. I think that's why some of that's stretching a touch out. What do you think, Rebecca? Do you think that character spacing needs changed? Maybe you're not watching me anymore. You've even got 2 viewers on, but a few comments. So that's that bit done. I've got one more I'm going to do now before we finish up. I'm not going to change the. Where's that come back from in Helix? Put my copyright to Dream Shape at the bottom. That last little bit, which is relatively straightforward again. So I've now got my last white row to fill in, and I've got an image, which is the speech marks. Again, I've got those pre-done. If anybody's realised, this is the genius of working with somebody who's actually good at doing design. Where's that gone? Blah, 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 blah. Pink bird, quotes. I need to say this is a PNG. Sorry about this one. If anybody's realised, this is all about speech and language therapy for kids, this website. And Rebecca created the logo for them. And if you've not realised yet, the birds themselves are actually speech marks. They're quote marks for speech. And on the design, you'll spot there, she's used that shape is the same shape as the 2 birds on the logo, which I think is really brilliant. So I've got this open in Affinity, which is one of my nice little tools I like a lot. I'm going to do export the SGV to PNG. I don't need it that big at all. I'm going to do 300. I only want selection only, export. Quotes, speak up for kids, website imagery, save. Close it down, and I should now have the quotes, and it's, for the sake of it, I always open these up in paint.net. A lot of, no, it hasn't changed it much. Sometimes PNG files can get cluttered with loads of junk and the file size gets too big. So I've got that done now. Quotes, upload it. Kids center. I already know this one. I want this probably about 125. Oh, my video's gone. Is it still live? Yeah, I'm still live. Nobody told me otherwise. So there's my speech marks. How was that compared to the layout of that one? A bit big. So I'm going to just drop that image width down again. I'm going to maybe make that 75. There we go. A bit closer to what it needs to be. Maybe even a bit smaller than that, to be honest. 45. I'm a stickler for stuff like this. There we go. How's that looking? I'm going to go with that one. So again, I've actually got text at the bottom now, and I'm going to do a text add-on. Text block. I want the margin at the bottom gone. Center alignment, and again, I've got this quote pre-typed, and I'm going to pop it out here that way. Pop it in there. It's also italic. I'm just going to change that in there. Do it that way around and see how that looks for that. I think I took the margin out of the image and I don't need to, did I? Oh no. Oh, you pain, because you've overridden that one. And I'm going to go EM colour. EM emphasis by default always likes to be pink. I'm going to change it in there. Should change it. There we go. Is it different layer? How heavy are we on there? No, it's not. It's all purple. I'm going to now just on that image at the bottom, knock that down to 20. And again, with the same as the rest, I'm going to bring the width of this in a little bit. If the padlock's set, locked, it will change all of these at once. If it's not locked, it'll just change the one you type in case you get, what on earth, why is it changing everything? I don't want it to. 75, 80, 100 as a guess. That's a bit more like it. Maybe to bring that in a touch more, actually. I think I'm going to knock it down to 10%. For the sake of getting it how I want it to be. 65, 75, leave it at 100 for the mobile. There we go. For now, without fiddling too much, that is as far as I'm going to go in this video. I'm going to just correct the margins on that one before I go anywhere. To be 40, 40. I was watching this video before. Where is it? Why has it got back to that? Am I still live, by the way? If I'm still live, drop me a comment. My little window's gone of where I watch it at. I'm just going to see that one. Oh, I've stopped, haven't I? Oh no, am I still live? If I'm still live, pop a comment in. Do I set to production mode? I sometimes do, sometimes don't in that one. My chat's popped up. Is that because it's doing something? Go away. I use a JCH Optimized Pro for compression, all sorts of stuff, and I sometimes find production mode I don't need to use it, but sometimes I do. I don't always have custom CSS, which often makes it pointless. So have a play. To be honest, I turn it on, try your page speed, turn it off, try your page speed. If it makes no difference, then it makes no difference whether it's on or off, in my mind. If I am still live and you're watching it, I can see that quote at the bottom that's come in now there. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. I've got through what I wanted to do. I thought I might get a little bit further than that. I've still got the footer to do, and I've still got the menu and stuff like that on to finish up. But I'll come back to that. I do need to get on with this build, so I'm not sure whether I managed to get through this with another live, but I might do another one just as a random one if I'm doing the build, and I'll come back and finish off. I am still sharing my screen because I've got my little window there seeing it. I'll come back in and show you how I do the top section. So I've got on here, I've got the Find Me on Facebook. The logo's actually bigger in terms of where it sits on here. I might slightly change the transparency of the header as you scroll. I'll see how I get on. And I've got the modules at the bottom to do with the logo and the Facebook icon, and also remove the modules that have come back in, which is a pain in the butt. Get them out of there and show you how it all goes. Other than that, I hope you've enjoyed that, just to see how I do things within Page Builder and Helix to get what I want in terms of site build there. If you've got any questions, please ask. I'm probably going to start doing a Joomla Q&A video every week instead of my own focus if anybody's got questions on. Ideally, I'm going to stick to, well, Joomla, basically. I might do some build questions if somebody's got something they're trying to create in Joomla or put together in a builder or Helix and stuff and they don't know what to do. If I can answer your questions, I will. Otherwise, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments and catch you all next week. Thank you. I would wave, but you can't see my hand.